Good morning, juniors. Today we are going to begin talking about cell metabolism with photosynthesis. Our objectives for today: explaining the role of ATP for cells, explaining the purpose of photosynthesis, and identifying the reactants and the products of photosynthesis. Just a quick review from last week. We know that all cells need energy in order to be alive and to function. We also learned that all cells have mitochondria to convert glucose into energy, to make that energy they need to survive. Here's the mitochondria right here, that red bean-shaped organelle. A note about our Cornell notes today. I just want to remind you that your notes from a teacher instruction always go on the right side of your science notebook, the odd numbered page. The red terms go on the left side of the fold. The green terms go on the right side of the fold. So please make sure you're writing on the odd numbered page, red on the left, green on the right. Our first key point for today is about ATP. And now ATP is the energy molecule of the cell. I'm giving you time to copy this down. ATP is a special molecule because it stores a lot of energy in its bonds. Bonds are what keeps all of these atoms held together. So when we break those bonds in a reaction, a ton of energy is released that the cell can use to function and be alive. You need to know that ATP is the energy molecule of cells. So we know that humans and other animals eat food to get their glucose to make energy. When you're feeling really tired, if you have a quick snack, you get a ton of energy because your cells have an influx of glucose. They're able to make energy in their mitochondria and you feel much better. However, plants can't eat. So how are plants getting their energy if they can't consume glucose like we do? Well, plants are special because they can do photosynthesis and we cannot. Photosynthesis only occurs in plant cells. It is the process plants use to make their own food, glucose, by absorbing the sun's energy. I'm pausing so you can copy this down. Photosynthesis takes place in chloroplasts. Remember those green organelles that look like they have stacks of coins inside? Those are the chloroplasts. They're only present in plant cells because only plant cells need to do photosynthesis. So let's hear what Tim and Moby have to say about photosynthesis. I'm sure they've got some interesting, funny jokes to make.
Dear Tim and Moby, how do plants grow? From Nance1277. All living things need nourishment to grow, but plant food is different from people food. Plants make their own food in a process called photosynthesis. Photosynthesis couldn't happen without the sun. Plants collect energy from sunlight and use this energy to make a sugar called glucose. Glucose is the main source of nutrition for plants, fueling their cells for function and growth. I'll show you. It's no secret that plants use their roots to drink up water from the soil. Water travels from the roots to the plant's leaves through a transport tissue called xylem, that's wood in trees. Meanwhile, leaves absorb carbon dioxide from the air through openings called stomata. The water and carbon dioxide spread through the leaves into cells called the palisade and spongy cells. These cells contain structures called chloroplasts, which are filled with a green pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is what makes green plants green. In photosynthesis, chlorophyll traps energy from sunlight, storing it as chemical energy. This process splits water molecules into hydrogen and oxygen atoms. The chemical energy is used to create glucose from the hydrogen and carbon dioxide. The glucose dissolves into extra water molecules and gives the plant plenty of food for growth. The leaves release oxygen as a waste product. That's one reason that plants are so important to us. They absorb our carbon dioxide and leave us with oxygen. We inhale the oxygen and exhale carbon dioxide back into the air. Yeah, I guess you could call it a partnership. Except we eat them. Moby, drinking sugar is not going to make you grow. It's just going to make you hyper. Oh boy.
So we heard from Tim and Moby. I want you guys right now to write down both of these equations for photosynthesis. The top equation is the word equation for photosynthesis. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to copy it down. So the top equation says carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight as the reactants combine in the chloroplast to form glucose and oxygen. Those are the products. So if you didn't already, I want you to underline the reactants. Underline carbon dioxide, water, and sunlight. And put a circle or a box around glucose and oxygen. Circle the products of photosynthesis. In this bottom equation, it says the same exact thing, just using the chemical symbols. So carbon dioxide, CO2, plus H2O, water, plus sunlight. The reactants, they're underlined. They combine to form C6H12O6, which is glucose, and oxygen. They're circled because they're the products. Please make sure for both of these equations, you have your reactants on the left side underlined, your products on the right side circled. We're going to look at a quick photosynthesis demo right now. I want you to be on the lookout for the bubbles that you're going to see. That's the oxygen gas being released as a product of photosynthesis. So here we have a water plant and the light is on. But the light turned off, so photosynthesis stopped. No energy from the sun, no photosynthesis can occur. So no bubbles are happening, no oxygen is being made, no glucose is being made. But the light comes back on and we see bubbles. Bubbles of oxygen gas being produced as a product of photosynthesis. This Alodia plant right now is in water. It's making glucose. It's giving off oxygen as a product. Those are the bubbles that we see. So let's summarize what we just learned. We know that all cells need energy, and energy comes from breaking down glucose. But plants can't eat like we do. They don't have a digestive system. They don't consume other organisms or plants like animals do. So, in order to get their energy to survive, plant cells make their own glucose through photosynthesis by absorbing energy from the sun. Only plant cells make their own glucose through photosynthesis. Please make sure you're going back to the video. If you missed any of the notes, you need to get all of the red terms and all of the green definitions down in your science notebook before moving on to practice.